We have, while my video series 82, learned analysis of a company's balance sheet and computation of financial ratios. Now, today's video series 83 is about computation of holding periods of raw material, semi-finished goods and finished goods, calculation of the credit period extended on sales by the company. So also the credit period the company enjoys while making purchases. So why we need to compute the holding period and credit period is question number 1. And second is, what is meant by the holding period? The holding period means, suppose if you take a manufacturing concern, it has got 3 types of inventories in general. They are the raw materials, the semi-finished goods and finished goods. Semi-finished goods is the raw material which is undergoing the process of conversion from raw material to finished goods. It has moved away from the state of raw material but has not become finished goods. They are still undergoing the different processes on the machinery. On an average, how many months of raw material the company keeps in the factory at any point of time? That is, suppose the raw material holding is 3 months, means whatever may be the quantity of raw material that is available at the factory will take care of the next 3 months production. Similarly, on an average, how many months of semi-finished goods are undergoing the process of conversion? Similarly, at any point of time, on an average, how many months of finished goods are lying at the factory? Say for example, if the finished goods holding is 2 months, which means the holding of finished goods to the extent of 2 months will take care of next to 2 months of supplies. The next one is the credit period extended on sales. We are aware that whenever a company makes sales, depending upon the demand in the market and depending upon the competition from other similar manufacturers, the company may have to extend some time to the buyers to make payment. This is what is called as credit period extended on sales. So, if the company does not extend the credit period as is given by his competitor, it is likely that the competitor may snatch the business from this company. Similarly, when making purchases, that is purchase of raw material, the company also enjoys availability of credit period. On an average, how many months of credit the company gets while making purchase of raw material? So, the comparison of the holding period of raw material, semi-finished goods and finished goods, the actuals and the projections, and the comparison of credit period extended on sales and credit period available on purchases will enable the company to decide whether I should accept the investment in the current assets. Because for a manufacturing company, the major components of current assets are the investment in raw material, finished goods and trade debtors. And the major item of current liability, of course excluding the working capital finance, is the trade payables. So this comparison will enable us to reasonably assume whether for a particular level of sales, whether the current assets projected is acceptable or not. That is what it is. So when a company approaches a bank for the first time, or a company which already enjoys working capital finance from the bank and seeks some enhancement, we will collect certain data. Let us understand what are they. One, we will ask the company to furnish last 2 years audited financial statements with all schedules, and also the next 2 years estimate and projection. That means the company had to give me last 2 years balance sheet and the last 2 years profit and loss account statement and the last 2 years cash flow statement, which are audited with all schedules. Similarly, the company had to give me the next 2 years, that is the current year estimate and the next year projections. Again, the estimated and the projected profitability statement, estimated and projected balance sheet, and estimated and projected cash flow statements. This will enable the bank to analyze and compare the actual performance of the company for 2 consecutive years. For example, the first 2 years, the projections are the audited figures. So the audited figures which are available to me, whether it is a balance sheet or that of a profit and loss account statement, will enable me the comparison of 2 years actuals. The next is, it also enables me to compare the past actual performance of the company with the current year estimate. When I say current year estimate, suppose the company is seeking an enhancement in working capital in the month of, say, September, which means the company had already made some actual sales from April to September. Based on that actual performance from April to September, they will give me an estimate what will happen by 31st of March next year. That is what is called current year estimate. Then the company will give for the next year, that is after completing the current year, a full year projections based on which will be the working capital finance assessment. Again, the next benefit the bank derives is to compare the actual performance of the company with the projections furnished for the next year. So the bankers collect 4 years data, 2 years audited data, 1 year current year estimate and 1 year projections when they consider enhancement in working capital finance or for renewal of the working capital finance or for considering working capital finance for the first time. Now I am giving an extract of the balance sheet. It's not possible for me to give the entire details. The current liabilities item will be given. I have the 31/3/2020 audited figures, 31/3/21 audited figures, that is the first 2 years. 31/3/22 I have the estimate, and 31/3/23 I have the projections. I have the total current liabilities, total term liabilities. It will be of course with the breakups. Here I am giving you only the abstract of the balance sheet. Then the net worth will be there, total liabilities are there, total current assets are there, net block is there, non-current assets are there, intangible assets and total assets. If you look at it, I can compare the actual. If you take, say, one example of net worth, The net worth was 78.34 crores in 31/3/2020, which has increased to 94.15 crore, which further increases to 108.94 crore and then to 130.56 crores. So I will find out the reason how, the sources from where the net worth keeps on increasing. Is it an additional infusion of capital, or is it an additional, infusion of any other long-term preferential shares, or is it on account of plowback of profit? These data can be derived and I can take a decision whether I should accept the estimate and the projection, comparing it with the audited figures of the past two. Now let us understand about a profit and loss account statement abstract. Here again you have the last 2 years figures audited and the estimates current year and next year's projection. If you can see gross sales, net sales, raw material consumption, cost of production, cost of sales, administrative and selling expenses, what is my total cost of operations, operating profit before interest, operating profit after interest, non-operating income or non-operating expenses, profit before tax, profit after tax. This enables me to compare, first of all, the first 2 years audited figures, what is the actual growth, is there an acceptable growth, whether the estimate that is projected is comparable with the actuals of the past, whether the projection given is comparable with the past. This is the reason why whenever a company needs working capital finance, we do request a company to submit the data for 4 years, consisting of 2 years audited figures, 1 year estimate, 1 year projections. Now let us move on. Let us understand what is meant by working capital finance. Working capital finance is provided for investment in current assets. We are all aware there are two types of investment they have to make, of which one is working capital in finance. Working capital, which is called total current assets. Current assets include two major items. One is inventories and the other one is trade receivables. In case of a manufacturing unit, definitely the inventories consist of the raw material, semi-finished goods and finished goods. Bank has to satisfy that the proposed investment in current assets to achieve a particular level of sales is acceptable. This is achieved by comparing the actual period of holding of raw material, semi-finished goods and finished goods with the estimates and projections. Bank also compare the previous actual average period of credit the company extends on sale with the estimated but projected period of credit to determine the acceptance of projected trade debt. Bank also compares the average period of credit the company getting during the last 2 years with the estimated or projected period of credit it will get while making purchases to decide on the level of projected trade payables. So now let us understand with the help of figures. These are all the audited figures which have been taken out from the balance sheet of a company. Now look here, this company has given 4 years figures. One is the income level, revenue level, one is the current assets level, one is the current liability level. First of all, understand that this company has made a sales of 360.90 crore in 2020, which has increased to 447.82 crore in 21. Now the company projects a sale of 549.67 crores for 2022, which further enhances to 664.17 crore for the year 23. So now our working capital assessment will be based on the projection that has been given for one full year 2023. Now if you look at the current asset side, see, to achieve a sale of 360.90 crore, the investment in current asset was 226 crore. Now to achieve 447.82 crore, the company had increased the investment in current asset to 271.10 crore. These two are actual figures. Now the company says that to achieve 549.67 crores, It means 363.98 crores investment in current assets. Similarly, to achieve a sales of around 664.17 crore, the company says that the investment in current asset has to be maintained at 420.76 crores. Now, let us understand that the trade creditors level also during 2020 it was 61.90 crore, and the company was getting a trade credit of around 85.16 crore in 21. Now the company says that it will further go up to 96.41 crore in 2022 when it makes purchases of raw material, and will further enhance to 115.91 crore trade payables it will be enjoyed. Now we have to find out how do we calculate. If you look at the current assets combination, the main thing is the cash and cash equivalent. Then you have the debtors. There are companies which are engaged in domestic sales as well as export sales. This company, the last 2 years, they have not done any export sales, but they propose to do so in the year 2020 and 2023. Other items are major items are the inventory, then raw material, domestic, semi-finished goods, finished goods, stores, then other current assets. Other current assets could be the advance paid to the suppliers of raw material or advance payment to the staff, etc. etc. Similarly, when you go to the trade creditors also, other than the trade creditors or the trade payables, there are certain other items like provision for some taxation or dividend, then there are current maturity of the term loan, there are some sundry creditors, and the other current liabilities are also there. The other current liabilities are anything which is in addition to the trade payables. Now let us understand how do we calculate the various items with what? The average holding period of raw material, semi-finished goods and finished goods, average period of credit extended on sales, and the average period of credit available on purchases are linked like this. Closing stock of raw material is compared with the raw material consumption. So in order to find out the holding period of raw material, how many months of raw material the company on an average keeps, what we compare is the closing stock of raw material with raw material consumption. Similarly, closing stock of semi-finished goods is compared with the cost of production, and the closing stock of finished goods is compared with the cost of sales, and the credit period extended on sales is compared with the gross sales, that is trade debtors outstanding and gross sales, and credit period available on purchases is compared with the purchases and trade creditors outstanding. Now let us understand the various formula and the computation of each of them. Look at here the holding period of raw material. The two items or components which are there is closing stock of raw material and annual raw material consumption. And how do we do it is closing stock of raw material multiplied by 12 divided by annual raw material consumption. When you multiply it by 12, you get the holding period in months. When you multiply it by 365, you get the holding period in days. Now the calculation, the raw material consumption is equal to opening stock of raw material plus purchases minus closing stock of raw material will give you the raw material consumption. When you get the raw material consumption, you have the closing stock of raw material available in the balance sheet, or in the computation of RMC also there is a closing stock. Using this, you can find out the closing holding period of raw material. When you come to the semi-finished goods holding period, it is the closing stock of semi-finished goods and cost of production. It is not compared with the raw material consumption. We know closing stock of semi-finished goods into 12 divided by cost of production. And the close to find out the cost of production, we know the formula we have learned while discussing the company's profit and loss account statement, how the way in which that we were analyzing it, cost of production is equal to variable cost plus depreciation plus opening stock of semi-finished goods minus closing stock of semi-finished goods. And the variable cost is any cost which varies with respect to production. Examples are raw material consumption, wages, consumable stores, any manufacturing expenses, the cost of power, the cost of fuel, etc. They all vary with respect to increase or decrease in production. Now, going back to the holding period of finished goods, again we take the closing stock of finished goods multiplied by 12 divided by cost of sales. Here the denominator is cost of sales, and cost of sales computation we have learned while discussing the analysis of profit and loss account statement of a company, that is equal to cost of production plus opening stock of finished goods minus closing stock of finished goods. Now let us go back to the credit period extended on sales, which is compared with trade debtors outstanding. The data will be available in the projected balance sheet or the actual balance sheet on the asset side under current assets, and the gross sales. The gross sales don't deduct the excise duty. Before deduction, the gross sales, income from sale of products, that should be taken. Because when we raise an invoice, the invoice contains the excise duty or whatever may be the taxes like GST, sales tax, etc. The whole credit period extended on sales is computed using trade debtors outstanding into 12 divided by gross sales. Trade debtors source is the balance sheet and the gross sales source is the P&L account. Now coming back to the credit period available on purchases, the comparison is between the trade payable outstanding and purchase of raw material. It is trade payables into 12 divided by purchase of raw material. Trade creditor is available in the balance sheet on the liability side under current liability, and purchases you can take it from the profit and loss account statement. So this is how the holding periods of raw material, semi-finished goods and finished goods, credit period extended on sales and the credit period available on purchases are computed. Now let us look at some key figures and the basis on which we have worked it out. I have taken the extract from the same company's balance sheet, which are real figures. 2020, 2021 actuals and 22 estimates, 23 projections. Here the raw materials are given, raw material consumption is given, semi-finished goods are given. I have analyzed the balance sheet to find out the cost of production. Then finished goods closing stock figure is there. I have calculated the cost of sales, trade debts outstanding, that is this company is proposing to do export sales also in 2022 and 23. So trade debt outstanding has got two bifurcations. One is domestic export, domestic sales, and also the trade debt account outstanding on account of export sales. And then we have domestic sales, export sales, trade credit, purchase of raw material. Now let us move on. Based on the formula that have been discussed now, we have calculated the holding periods. We found that the raw material holding period was 1.93 in 2020, slightly increased to 1.98 in 21. 22 the projected is 1.99 and 23 it is expected to come down to 1.73. Normally we do accept a variance of plus or minus 20%. The banks which are very strict in analyzing a working capital finance restrict themselves to a variation of plus or minus 10%. The semi-finished also, if you look at, it was 0.72 increased to 0.90. It is further increased to 0.94 and then reduced to 0.92. Please understand that the semi-finished holding period is talking in general about the processing time. That is from conversion of raw material to till it gets the finished goods. In this case, on an average, if you look at the last 2 years, it is around 27 days is what it takes to complete one batch of production. Now, when it comes to the finished goods, it is seen that it was 1.74. That's an increase in 1.96. Further increases to 2.11 or further to 2.07. We can better ask a reason why there is an increase in 2022 and 23. What could be the reasons? Credit period extended on domestic sales was 3.46, reduced to 2.76, increased to 3.3 and projected to be at 3.24. And export sales, if you look at, more or less it tallies with the credit period extended on domestic sales. And the working capital cycle is nothing but the total of the holding period of the raw materials, semi-finished goods, finished goods, and the credit period extended on sales without deducting the credit period available on purchases. That is hovering around 7.85 to 7.60, but in 22 it has substantially increased to 8.34. There is a need to ask the explanation from the company, the reason for increase, and if we are satisfied, we may incorporate the reason for that increase in the credit proposal which will be submitted to the sanctioning authority. And as I have told you, other than these 3 or 4 items like raw materials, semi-finished goods, finished goods, and the trade debtors, there are some other current assets. It is better to calculate the OCA as a percentage to the total current asset to ensure that that again is not overstated. So normally, after comparing the holding periods and the credit period extended on the asset side, let us also calculate what is the rest of the other current asset as a percentage of the total current assets. Say for example, in this case, if you look at the OCA excluding cash as a percentage to TCA was 3%, which enhanced, it has come down to 1.68, then to 1.80 and then 1.82. Similarly, on the other current liabilities also, compare that as a percentage to total current liability, excluding the trade credit which we have already taken. Here again it is showing a reducing tendency and then they can accept the same. Now, when we find out that the holding periods and the credit period extended and credit period available, so also the OCA as a percentage to TCA and OCA as a percentage to the TCL are found comparable. The bank is basically satisfied with the estimated and projected total current assets and the estimated and projected other current liability excluding bank finance. Now, having understood this, now that we have compared the holding periods, credit periods and found they are acceptable, then based on this, we do calculate what should be the working capital finance requirement. So while this video series 83, we have learned calculation of holding periods of raw material, semi-finished goods and finished goods. We also understood the calculation of credit period extended on sales and the credit period available on purchases. Subscribe to this channel to receive intimation on my new videos. Please note that subscription is free of cost. Press the like button and share the information with your friends. In the next video series 84, I shall be discussing assessment of working capital finance using MPPF method 2. Thank you all very much. Please visit my website www.lendinghub.co.in. Thank you very much.